This is Tim McMaster and Connor Hughes from the Can't Wait podcast. The Jets are picking second. Yes, it is official. The Jaguars will have the number one pick in the draft. They will take Trevor Lawrence. And when you look at it now, looking back on the season, probably the way it should have turned out, this Jaguars team was bad from start to finish, Connor. And is it fair to say the Jets maybe weren't as close as it felt like they were 8 days ago?
Yeah, I think it was a mirage. I think that's probably what it was. I mean, it's funny though, because when you think back, it wasn't long. It was like 8-9 days when the Jets were walking off the field in Seattle and they had just gotten destroyed. What was that score? Like 40-3 or something like that. I mean, the offense couldn't move. The defense under Frank Bush looked dismal. I mean, the Jets did look like this team's going to go 0-16, and in 3 weeks they're going to have them. And when they then came back and beat the Rams the way that they did, I think what made so many within the organization demoralized was that wasn't like a commanding victory over LA. It was like the Rams sleptwalk through 3 weeks. And if the Jets finished 1-15 if the Jets finished 1-15 and the Jaguars finished 1-15, then, it's just because the Rams trap game the Jets. That's what's going to cost the Jets Trevor Lawrence. Now, everyone's stomach in Florham Park, I think it eases things a little bit. I think you can change your focus because by the Jets now coming back and beating the Browns, and the Jets are going to beat the Patriots in Week 17, I think what it shows is that the Jets were never as close to Trevor Lawrence as it originally seemed. They were never as bad as the Jaguars. The Jets are not good. The Jets are a very bad football team, but Jacksonville is a train wreck. That team's going to lose 15 games in a row. The Bears just walked in and dropped a 40 burger on them. I mean, they've got Mike Glennon playing quarterback. They've got some good players in like Clark and stuff, or Chark, I'm sorry, but the Jaguars are the worst team in the NFL. And while for 13 weeks it looked like it might have been the Jets, that's not the case. And so the Jets get this next best thing. They get the second best thing, and the second best thing is the number 2 pick in the draft. And now they're going to have a decision to make. Is it Zach Wilson? Is it Justin Fields? Is it roll with Sam again? Is it draft Penei Sewell? I mean, what is it? But I think at least now, by the Jets beating the Browns, I think fans can be put at ease. I think fans can kind of take like an exhale, and they cannot be so angry and they cannot be distraught. They wish they got Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, you wish the team was in that position, but the Jets are not the worst team in the NFL. The Jaguars are, and the Jaguars will be picking number 1.
And when you look at talent and pieces, I mean, not overall talent, this Jets team needs a lot more of that. But the pieces that are there with Becton, we saw all the different things that you can do with Jamison Crowder if you use him correctly on Sunday. Mims and the flashes that he's shown, Quinnen Williams, with all the little pieces that this Jets team has, you could definitely argue that they're not the second worst team in the NFL.
No, and I think that's what drives some hope for the future, because there are 6, 7, and 8 win teams out there that are not as close to turning this around and not as close to potential contention than the Jets are. And this obviously goes back to whether you believe or don't believe in Joe Douglas. I've made so many calls to executives. I made so many calls to agents. I've made so many calls to people around the NFL that have told me with the utmost certainty that the Jets have a real one in Joe Douglas. And the one thing that quote, I've said it before, that I got from one of my best sources was, I can't believe Joe Douglas is actually working for the Jets. Like, that's how good this guy is. He's so good that there's no way the Jets could possibly hire him. And he's the one who's running point on this turnaround. He's the one controlling the draft. He is the one controlling free agency. He's going to be the one picking the Jets' next head coach when they fire Adam Gase. And when you look at the treasure trove of draft picks that he's accumulated over the last 2 years, when you look at the mountain of salary cap space that he has to sign free agents, the Jets have the means to turn this around. There are some building blocks in this team when you talk about Becton, and there's Mims, and there's Ashton Davis if you like him, and he's not the best in Connor McGovern, but he's a competent center, and there's some players on defense, Marcus May if they re-sign him. I mean, and then you talk about the infusion of talents that's going to be coming there with that pick, or with those picks, and with that money. The Jets are bad right now. They're a bad football team, but they do have the means to turn it around, and it's not like it's going to be a 10-year rebuild. This team does have the means to make this turnaround happen, and make this turnaround happen pretty quick. And the future's bright. In my opinion, as bad as this year's been and as bad as the decade's really been for the Jets, I do think that the future is bright here.
Thank you for listening. The Athletic is the world's fastest growing sports media publication. Get in-depth sports stories you can't find anywhere else. Visit theathletic.com/Google to take advantage of our holiday offer for just a couple more days. Get a subscription for somebody else as a gift, and you'll get a subscription yourself for free. So buy one, get one free, and also ask your Google Assistant to play the latest episode of the Can't Wait podcast.